Alright guys, so let's go ahead and take a trip back down to 1992, where what most people call the league's most dominant player got his start into the NBA, and he came in with his own signature shoe. Let's check out the retro to Reebok Shaq Attaq. Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Mike from sneakerhistory.com and we are back with another video. Guys, thank you so much for joining. I really do appreciate you. Of course, if you hadn't done so already, hit that subscribe button down below. Guys, we're at 1,700 subscribers so far. We're that close to 2,000, which I thought maybe we can hit at the end of the year, but I'm thinking we can do it a whole lot sooner. So guys, go ahead and hit that button down below. And of course, if you hadn't done so already, make sure you're listening to the Sneaker History Podcast. All right, guys, so you saw in the intro, we are looking at the league's most dominant player ever, which I think so. It's up for debate, I know, a lot of times, but to me he is. And again, that's Shaquille O'Neal's first signature sneaker with Reebok, and it's gonna be the Reebok Shaq Attaq. Now the Shaq Attaq, guys, actually came out in 1992, and this is 30-year anniversary. So this is actually gonna be so it's technically the second time the shoe's retroed. It retroed in 2012, 2013. But also, if I'm not mistaken, there's this kind of weird retro that they did that was very, very limited. It's hard to find it, so I don't really want to consider it a full retro release, but it was 2017, and I was only able to find it talking to a buddy of mine through Instagram, and we found one that was on StockX that was they're asking way too much money for it, but apparently it was just some kind of limited release at the time. But bringing it back down to 2022, again, 30th anniversary, 30th birthday for this particular sneaker, Reebok has brought it back to really its as close as possible form that it was in 1992. Now, I wish I had a sneaker from 1992, or this sneaker I should say from 1992, to really do a compare and contrast, but this is actually my first time having the Shaq Attaq in hand. And I have to say, this is definitely a sneaker meant for a big man, because this is a lot of shoe. And before I forget, and I don't know why we didn't say this first, shout out to the team over at Reebok for sending these over. I really do appreciate you guys. These are awesome, really getting a hand. And just for, again, who we are at Sneaker History, this is perfect to talk about. Although it may not be, you know, the most hyped sneaker out, this is something that I think is worthy of a conversation because of what it meant. Because with this sneaker, Shaq, again, debuted in the NBA for the Orlando Magic, which we have our Magic colorway here. He was able to start for starting the All-Star game as the starting center, of course, and he was able to be crowned Rookie of the Year. So this shoe does a lot, and it tells a lot just by what it is and the time and the person that wore it. So it's really cool to be able to really see it in person, really hold it, because again, I never actually owned one, so it's really nice to have it in that original colorway. Now, the sneaker itself did implement that pump technology, so you guys do have the pump here, which is very popular, of course, after the D Brown dunk contest, which was what, 1991, right? So that was all together here. And was that 91 or 90? Guys, sorry if I got that time frame wrong, excuse me. I can't remember what year it was actually. But that's when that when that shoe got popular, that technology got popular, is after that dunk. He pumped them all right in the dunk contest, and boom, he implemented here. Now, something that's really cool about this shoe that really pops out to me is one of the big brandings is gonna be the Shaq logo. So you have the Shaq logo here, which is gonna be behind the tongue tag, but you're also gonna have it here on the back of the heel. And what's cool about this is that Shaq actually came into the league with his logo ready, all this stuff put together in mind. He knew what he wanted to do, he knew how he wanted to go about it, and it wasn't something that the brands really put together. So that was his logo, which is really cool, with, of course, you know, the big Shaq and the Dunk Man logo in there. I guess we call it the original Dunk Man, because I know LeBron calls his the Dunk Man as well, but we have the original Dunk Man logo done up, and this one's gonna be in blue to match the blue accents, which they call that material on the collar and the tongue here anodized. I don't know, I should have probably looked it up before I did the video. I've heard it before, I've seen the material in different shoes, but I'm not quite sure the purpose. It's almost like someone took, like, you know guys, like the foamposite material, but a takedown, a less what's the word I'm looking for, guys? Sorry, I'm trying to explain this the way I feel it and see it. It's like a less firm, more soft version of that really kind of hard foam you see in some, like the foamposite, or, you know, things like that. I'm guessing that, of course, for accent and for look is there because of that kind of shiny metallic look, but it also can provide a little bit of protection. So again, that is just me guessing. And I know we're kind of going about this review a little differently than normal, but I really wanted to talk about it kind of a natural flow instead of going, oh, piece here, piece here, piece here. Just really, as I'm really seeing this shoe and holding it for the first time in hand, really just things that pop out to me. And of course, we're gonna cover the entire shoe, but I want to make sure that I can really just, again, give you guys kind of a natural, talking pattern around it, because I'm seeing a lot of things for the first time as well. Now with the laces, you're gonna have just normal flat white laces here, typically things you see in performance or basketball sneakers. No additional sneakers in the packaging, which we'll take a look at here in just a few minutes, but you don't really need them. I think with the way the sneaker, the base white, the white laces look good as it pops against that kind of metallic blue tongue that you're gonna have. And that's, again, that whole blue is gonna go from the top to the bottom of the tongue along with the patch for the pump. Now, I don't know how tight or, the pump will actually get the sneaker. I tried it out a couple times. I can feel a little bit of air going through it, but I'm not sure exactly the extent of how tight, because this is too big for me to play in. This is gonna be more of a casual shoe I wear from time to time, but again, more of just like, I really think just a staple to have in my collection for, again, what it is and what it means. Now you're gonna have on the side, you're gonna have the Reebok branding that is gonna be in the middle of this like black patch that almost has like this texture to it. Now I'll tell you, the whole shoe is all synthetic materials. I don't think there's any actual leather on the shoe. It's all premium, or not premium, all synthetic, but it's gonna have like kind of this weird, almost really low cut Durabuck feel that has this kind of texture to it, again with the Reebok branding right here in the middle. And you're gonna have this synthetic suede vector logo, because kind of, if you guys see, the vector logo goes behind, and then this other piece kind of completes the whole logo. Just you have to really give it a look, because it really just encompasses the side of the shoe. Now again, the base is going to be a white synthetic leather, nothing super soft, but again, it feels like it is going to be durable on court. You're going to have your eyelets here, which are going back to the laces, and kind of jumped around there, which are going to be dumped in a kind of a plastic setup here. It's almost like dual eyelets, because you're going to have the material that has the eyelet holes, but you're also going to have the plastic eyelets that really seem to provide a little bit more containment to make sure that, I mean, Shaq was a big man. I think he wore, what, a size 22? Can you imagine? Like, this is a size 10 and it looks huge. Can you imagine a size 22? I feel like it'd be off camera. Like, you're gonna have one part of the shoe over here, the other part over there. It's a boat. It's crazy to think how big this shoe was, right? But again, since you're such a big guy, you wanna make sure you give him all the containment possible. So those plastic eyelets looks to add, again, a little bit more stability on the lateral side, because again, with him and all the movements he was making, you gotta make sure his shoe's not coming off or he's not rolling the ankles. Now, the eyelets also go up to the top of the ankle collar here, again, providing more support. So we have two eyelets here that we're able to use. And then the inside sock liner is gonna be made up of a black mesh that you'll see here. And if I'm able to pull it out, let's see, I'm always having trouble with the sock liners, guys. This sock liner actually has some words on it here. It says Reebok, of course, but it says, all men count on you, but none too much. So I don't know exactly where that statement comes from. Is that something from Shaq, something that he kind of lived by, or what? But that is a statement in this shoe. So again, I always like that Reebok does that kind of extra touch on their sneakers, whether it be just like extra words, a little story, images on those sock liners, because it just provides a little bit of extra to it, just to, again, complete the story. Now, I don't know if that was something there in the OG models, the past retros, or if it's something new. So you guys let me know down below if you have an OG pair or the previous retro. Let me know if that's something there. And if you know where it comes from, let me know as well. Now we're going to the back of the shoe, where that faux suede vector logo kind of meets in the back here at the top. But again, we have our Shaq logo down here, and it's going to be wrapped in that synthetic white leather that is going to be topped off with, again, that anodized material that is going to be in that metallic blue color. Now, as we get down to our midsole, midsole is going to be just our typical foam insole, very sturdy, and it's going to be kind of a mixture of black, white, blue, and gray. So we have a few different colors there just to give an extra pop, just to make it just more dynamic looking, because it's Shaq. I mean, I feel like he's such a big personality. They want to make the shoe look as good as possible. And I feel like he's had that personality, even initially in NBA. It wasn't something that, after a couple of years he had it. He had that big personality, like stepping foot into the league. So it's really cool that he got a really, I mean, for the time, I think a really just out there shoe, because this thing has a lot of details on it, considering it was, again, 1992, when things are still, aside from Jordan and a lot of other shoes, I feel like were still really standard, unless you were looking at the Air Jordan sneakers. And when did Barkley get his shoe? Yeah. I'm trying to think back, guys. A lot of dates and, you know, times run through my mind when I think about these sneakers, so hard to pinpoint one, but at a time where, again, sneakers were plain looking, this one came out and definitely was definitely a statement piece, I would say. Especially that, look at that tongue on that thing. Good Lord. But again, this was made for a 7-footer who was breaking, you know, backboards and just really putting the league on notice about what he was going to do over his, you know, what, 20-year career. Now, fun fact about this shoe that I didn't know until Robbie and I actually did an episode about Shaq sneakers, which is live now on the Apple Podcast, Spotify, all the places you can play podcasts. We should be there. And that this carbon fiber plate you're gonna see all throughout this shoe. So a lot of sneakerheads like to rewrite history, you know, to revise it for kind of Jordans and make sure, oh, you know, Jordan did this, his shoe did this first. This is actually the first sneaker to introduce the carbon plate, and it is a huge carbon plate. Again, Shaq was a big man, so it makes sense, but you have a huge carbon plate that is exposed here on the medial side. It's gonna be exposed both on like midfoot and through the heel, and it was not the Jordan 11 that did it. It's actually the Shaq Attaq, which is a really cool piece of knowledge that I didn't know about till recently. So you guys take that with you, and next time someone says that the Jordan 11 was the first with the carbon plate, tell them no. Tell them, go ahead and talk about Reebok and show them that boom, Shaq Attaq had it first. Now, since we're on the outsole, there's a couple different things going on here. You're gonna have your very large, like huge tooth herringbone that's gonna be right here in the midfoot, and then right here, or the forefoot, I'm sorry, and then in the heel. You're gonna have this weird, smooth, kind of very, very shallow traction that's going to be on the toes, on the outside of the foot, both on the front and the back. So kind of a weird traction pattern. Again, I haven't played in them, so I don't know how it performs. I mean, clearly Shaq did all the things he did in them with this shoe, so it must be okay. Now, the shoe does run true to size. Even though it looks huge, it does run true to size. Again, wide footers is always just good practice to go try them on first, because just want to make sure that you're, you know, feeling good across the top of the shoe here. Make sure it's not constricting too much. But if worse comes to worse, if you can't try them on, suggest going half size up. That's always the best course of action, I usually think. Now, with this shoe, I think it is very classic. Probably, again, won't be probably in super heavy rotation because this is just a big shoe. I'm not a tall guy. I'm like, what, 5'8", and this shoe's gonna be up to my knee. No, just kidding, guys. But it's definitely something I will put on some occasions. Definitely want to keep it like in the, you know, the little zero gravity shelf here sometimes, or in the background, but it's just a cool shoe to have. So again, I really do appreciate the team over at Reebok for them. They will be dropping on the 23rd of September. Of course, Reebok always drops them at midnight Eastern. So watch the little clock. They're gonna be available then, and they're gonna be for a price of 180 bucks. I know it's a bit steep, but it's a lot of shoe. I mean, I guess purely the construction piece and this huge carbon plate probably make up a lot of that cost. But if you're a Shaq fan, if you're a classic basketball fan, this is definitely something to add to your collection. I like the fact that I have it now. Just really kind of completes a lot of the Reebok shoes I've been picking up, and I've been, you know, so graciously given by the brand. So really cool to have this added to the family of those Reebok sneakers, and again, that classic basketball. So guys, let me know what you think about the Shaq Attaq. This is probably one of the cleanest classic basketball shoes you'll get your hands on. A lot of history behind it, a lot of stories. So drop a note down in a comment. You like it? You not like it? Did you grab a pair before? If you have any information on the 2017 retro, let me know. I want to know more about that one as well. But until next time, guys, see ya.